Hello, good morning and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and hits 103.9 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM on Facebook live stream, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Y in Wa, ATL FM in Cape Coast, KTU Radio Koforidua, Go Digital on Spotify, Facebook, and the myjoyonline.com app. Coming up this morning, passengers plying the Gosu Kumasi Road caution to find alternatives as drivers boycott station to protest high fuel prices. And later, Ghana on the verge of COVID-19 drug breakthrough as Center for Plant Medicine Research reveals it is close to completing work on a herbal medicine that could cure COVID-19.
For me, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. The government.
If we are successful with the clinical trial, then we can have the product registered for treating the disease that is COVID-19.
And later in business,
Bank of Ghana reviews liquidity requirement of commercial banks as cedi depreciation hits hard at the operations. Details on the Joy Business Report.
Now, he was attacked and maimed for simply covering a demonstration. Now, he's vowed to protect his colleague journalists against such attacks. That's the story of Latif Idris, who is now equipping his colleagues in the line of duty.
There are a lot of organizations doing media advocacy. We want to give meaning to the protection of journalists.
And some music fans have been practicing ahead of a Doom Praise Music Festival.
You've done so much for me, I cannot tell it all.
There's more coming up in the news at 6. Thanks for choosing us. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. My name is Mama Vio Swabwaji. Let's settle for the details of the stories now. This morning, passengers looking to board vehicles from Goso in the Ahafo region to Kumasi in the Ashanti region may have to find alternatives as drivers have decided to boycott work to protest increment in fuel prices. The drivers say their businesses are struggling and the recent hike would only crush it if fares are not increased. They are demanding that prices are reduced at the pumps or they escalate fares yet again just a week after the 19% increase. Some of the drivers spoke to our sister station at Dom FM.
Fuel is expensive. They have increased the fare to 45 cedis. That's what we work with. Now fuel is 105 cedis. From 3 a.m., no car will move from here. Anyone should try and move and see, unless we are allowed to increase fares or they reduce fuel prices. The roads are not good. We spend money on spare parts, not to talk of fuel. The increment happens, we are not moving. Any driver trying to work will be dealt with.
You heard the drivers in Goso speaking to our sister station at Dom FM. Meanwhile, drivers in the Commander at Dinagwefwa municipality of the Central Region on Wednesday suspended their activities with similar concerns. According to them, until the Ghana Private Road Transport Union increases the fares, they will not move their cars. There's more in this report.
It's early Wednesday morning, and some drivers in the Commander at Dinagwefwa municipality won't simply move their vehicles. They have been protesting against the fuel price hikes. Their protest left many passengers stranded. They couldn't get vehicles to their various destinations. The drivers say they are running at a loss and they can't incur more losses.
In and out, 48 cities. The baby in Lord petrol 1 gallon. Petrol 1 gallon.
Richard Kojonyako filed that report. Now, the Food and Beverages Importers Association has kicked against government's move to limit access to forex to banks lending to importers of such goods as rice and cooking oil. It comes as prices of such goods continue to increase in the wake of the fluctuating cedi and rising inflation. In a bid to stem this and control imports, government has indicated it will review the standards required for importation into the country. Kojo Nkrumah is Information Minister.
As a first step, what the central bank is doing with the banks is to limit the availability of forex for the importation of some of these items that have been mentioned. Rice, poultry, vegetable oil, fruit juices, etc. as a first step. The second is that we are working to boost local production, and that's where he mentions working with the local system to boost local production. Because if you do not take care at a go, you may create shortages on the market that will lead to a further increase in the prices.
So that's Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. But Executive Member of the Food and Beverages Importers Association, John Awuni, says although the policy is a good one, its immediate implementation poses potential risks.
It's mind-boggling to have the government contemplate on this policy at this point in time. It is not as if this has not been tried before. We tried this in 2001 regarding rice, regarding chicken, and it did not work. Today, they are producing oil in Ghana, the fried oil in Ghana. How much is a gallon? That is 1,200 cedis. How much does the average Ghanaian earn? So for me, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. The government, if it goes ahead to implement this, it's going to exacerbate the current economic problems.
You heard there John Awene. He's the executive member of the Food and Beverages Importers Association of Ghana. Now, the Center for Plant Medicine Research has announced it is close to completing work on a herbal medicine that could cure COVID-19. Speaking at the first Okoampofo Memorial Conference organized by the center in Accra, project coordinator of the center, Dr. Kofi Buedu, says they are nearing completion.
This whole study is to put up a full preclinical study that we can put together an investigative brochure and submit to the FDA and get licensing to conduct clinical trials on the product. And if we are successful with the clinical trial, then we can have the product registered for treating the disease that is COVID-19. So basically that is what we are doing. We are through, basically about 60-70%.
And that's Dr. Kofi Buedu, his project coordinator at the Center for Plant Medicine Research. On to Tech Thursday now, and most hospitals in Ghana do not have support for hearing and speech impaired people. In most cases, there are no sign language translators on or standby to aid the hearing and speech impaired patients in accessing healthcare. This has prevented many from visiting health facilities because they cannot effectively communicate their ailment to health professionals. Fortunately, some students from the computer science departments of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have developed an app called Sign Talk, which seeks to solve this problem. Here's Love FM's Kwesi Deborah.
Sign Talk seeks to solve the problem by being a first step initiative to bring the hearing and speech impaired community back into society by bridging the deeply rooted communication gap. It does this by providing features that allow speech to sign language translation and sign language to speech translation. For the speech to sign language translation, Sign Talk allows a health professional to speak into their device's microphone and translate their speech into sign language by showing the hearing and speech impaired patient videos of sign language that represent exactly what the health professional said.
Now, it does that by leveraging the power of computer vision and then deep learning by allowing the patient who is hearing or vision impaired to sign in front of their camera and then extract their signs, the signs that they have made, and convert that directly into speech.
And that's Kwesi Deborah's reports. Tech Thursday it is. Now, Ghana's media and freedom of expression scenery some time ago was said to be the safest in Africa. In 2022, however, Ghana ranked 60th globally and 30th in Africa. Media experts say the lack of safety policies and practices in newsrooms has contributed to the worsening situation. Journalist Sanctuary International, an advocacy organization aimed at ensuring the safety of journalists, especially while on the field, has donated combat gear to some selected media houses in Ghana. There's more in this report.
Joy News' Lateef Idris on March 27, 2018 was cruelly beaten nearly to death at the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service. He wasn't beaten by criminals, but by police personnel while covering a protest. For 4 years, he has battled with a head injury sustained on that day, even after treatments both home and abroad. The brutal and shameful attack on Lateef is not isolated. To advocate for and ensure that journalists are protected mainly during field works like protests or demonstrations, Lateef Idris has set up the Journalist Sanctuary International. On Wednesday, the organization presented military standard helmets and bulletproof vests to some selected media houses, including the Multimedia Group. Professor Audrey Gajapo is a director of the Journalist Sanctuary International.
I'm here with your own Lateef Idrisu. When we watch international news, we see our colleague journalists, when they go out into the battlefield, and battlefield largely defined because it's not only in war zones, but in Lateef's case, for example, a demonstration, they protect themselves to guard against injury.
Professor Audrey Gajapo there, ending that news desk report. And before we go, some music fans have been sharing their love for musicians billed for tomorrow's Adum Praise Music Festival, the biggest of such gospel shows this year. Take a listen.
You've done so much for me, I cannot tell it all.
And Celestine Donko is promising to put up an unforgettable show. And you have to be ready. Celestine Donko teasing us ahead of Adum Praise. Grab a ticket, 100 Ghana cedis and 150 Ghana cedis. That's how we end the news at 6. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Mama Vioso Abwaje. Thanks for listening.